Hello, everybody. It's Tyler with 3D Printing Basics. If you guys were interested in getting every single episode of this podcast, 3D Printing Basics, ad-free and a week early, and also getting exclusive perks such as exclusive episodes that only you can listen to and more, then subscribe on Patreon. My link will be down below. I would really appreciate it if you guys would consider supporting me. All the support I've already received has meant the world to me, so thank you guys so much. If not, no worries. Continue to consume these episodes for free, and I appreciate you listening regardless. So thank you guys very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 3D Printing Basics. This is episode number 98, and in this week's episode, as you can see, we officially have a video podcast. This has been a long time in the making. I know 98 episodes is definitely a long time for me to finally decide to do a video podcast, but I decided that it's about time that you guys see me and you see who I am. You guys obviously know what I'm about. You know how much I love 3D printing. So I figured it was kind of time to show off a little bit. So yeah, that is kind of why I did it. But let me know down in the comments if you guys like this format, if you want me to keep it going, or if you just don't really care either way, want me to go back to my audio format. Yeah, just feel free to let me know. But this is the first time I'm doing this, so please, stick with me if we have any kind of issues regarding audio or anything like that. I'm trying my best out here, but it is a new thing. So with that being said, just thank you guys for all the support. I really appreciate everybody. Now that you've seen me, I just want to say it to you guys. I really appreciate all your guys' support on the podcast. It really means the world to me. I never would have thought that, 98 episodes later, I'd be here in front of a camera talking to you, all these episodes later. So it just means the world to me that you guys like this podcast so much and you're still listening all these episodes later, and hopefully a lot more episodes in the future. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into today's episode, which is going to be about the P2S. So Douglas, a user or a listener of the podcast, commented and asked for an episode on the P2S, the Bambu Lab P2S, which is exactly what it sounds like. It is the successor for the Bambu Lab P1S. And it has a couple different upgrades, a couple different feature changes that I wanted to go over, and just kind of an overview of what the new printer is all about and whether or not it's a good printer and whether or not it's something that you should go with over the P1S. Is it worth the price difference? Is it worth all the different upgrades that it has? Is it worth it overall? And so with that being said, yeah, let's just jump right into it. First, I did want to say that you guys know that obviously I'm a big Bambu Labs guy. I really love Bambu Labs. It's without a doubt my favorite 3D printing company. Almost all of my printers upstairs are Bambu Labs printers. I love the automation that they have, just how everything is kind of automatic and easily detectable, and it takes care of itself, and to me, that's the whole point of 3D printing, is having something that you can step away from and not worry about something failing, and you can just have a machine that you don't have to monitor and still churns out successful and well done parts. So that's definitely one of the reasons why I really like Bambu Labs, and one of the reasons why they're one of my favorite 3D printing companies on the market. But yeah, they came out with the P2S. It was a little while ago. It wasn't super long ago, but it also wasn't last week or anything like that. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into the basics. So the specs for this printer. The specs are going to be the exact same as the P1S, the X1C, the A1, most of their common flagship printers, which is going to be 256 millimeters on the X, the Y, and the Z. So you're going to be able to print something that's 256 millimeters long, wide, and tall. That's going to be the max build volume that you have. It is fully enclosed, which is nice. It's the same as the P1S printer, not the same as the A1 or the P1P printers. Those ones are not fully enclosed. So you do have that nice perk of having a printer that is fully enclosed. It comes in a base and combo version, so it comes with their new AMS2, which is something that has gotten definitely a lot of hype because the AMS2 comes with its own drying system. So rather than with the original AMS, you can put your filament in there with the desiccant beads and it will keep your filament dry, but it won't actively dry it. The AMS2 will actively dry your filament, and it just does a lot better job working as its base function, which is for multi-material or multicolor prints. So it just does a lot better job. And that's not saying that the original AMS does a bad job. I have AMSs on almost all of my printers, and every single one of them works flawlessly and does exactly what I needed to do. But the AMS2 just does a little bit better job at that. So that's definitely something to consider. its price range. It comes in at only about $550 the base price, and then you're looking at about $800 with the AMS. And that's about the same price point that the P1S was when it came out. If anything, I think I remember the P1S being a little bit more expensive. So the fact that the P2S comes with all these different upgrades and all these different abilities, and for it to still come in at such a low price point is, again, one of the main reasons why I love Bambu Labs as a company, is they're always innovating and they're always making better prices. So that's definitely something that I enjoy. It has a heated build plate of up to 110 degrees Celsius and a heated nozzle up to 300 degrees Celsius. So nothing really different there. It's the same as kind of the P1S models, but the thing to consider is that it can't do the engineering filaments like the PEAK, it does do carbon fiber nylon, but you're not going to get the PEAK, the Ultim 1010s, the fire resistant, the extreme engineering filaments that require really, really high temperatures is not going to be done on the P2S. And it also doesn't have a heated build chamber. So it will heat itself up just because the bed is hot and that gives off heat. So the inside of the 3D printer won't be cold, but it just can't actively heat, which will help a lot if you're printing things like ABS, ASA, and then the engineering filaments, which of course you can't do. But all the high temperature filaments, they really help if you have a heated build chamber. So it is kind of unfortunate that it doesn't have that. But if I remember correctly, you can purchase either directly through Bambu Labs or through some open source community mods, you can have a heated build chamber in there. So that definitely is an option. It's not like you can't do it. You just got to go through a different avenue to get it. And so now that we know all the specs, we're going to talk about what's new in the P2S versus the P1S. So there is a couple of differences. The main difference is going to be the upgraded extruder and hot end. So the servo motor extruder comes up with, it's just a better servo motor. So it has more torque, it has more force, and it's up to 70% more kilograms of force. So this one has 8.5 kilograms of force, which is up to 70% more than the previous generations. And that's really helpful because it offers more torque and it offers more force output, which enables your printers to run smoother and run faster and also run more accurately. So that's something that is going to be very good as they keep innovating. As each part gets better and better, it overall makes the printer better. And so the upgraded stepper motors is definitely really, really nice. And the servo motors, it's going to really help you churn out successful, faster, higher quality prints. Another thing that they changed is their quick swap their quick swap hot end system. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but it's something that I'm personally really excited about. Their new swapping system is swapping from one nozzle to the other. It's almost like a quick change hot end system. So to me, the way I like to think about it is if you're using an air system and you have the quick connect hose on the air hoses, and you can swap out the blaster for a grinder. If you guys have ever worked in a shop of any kind, you guys have done stuff like that. That's what I imagine these hot ends are like. You use one hot end and it's a single nozzle system. So you're using one hot end, you're printing, and then you want to switch out, whether it's to another material or another color, and you just want to save time. You don't want to have any purge. It moves over to the side and then switches out the nozzle that it's currently using for the bystanding nozzle to use the different color, a different material, whatever you want to use. And that to me is a huge development, because not only is it going to make these printers faster and also easier to use the different materials overall, it's going to save you so much filament in terms of the purge. If there's no more purge, then you're saving literally kilograms of filament with not having to purge when you're using just these single nozzles. And so overall, it's going to be a much better system. And I'm really hoping that they come out with a way to either revert your old printers to this system, like the P1Ss, the P1Ps that I have, because this is something that I'm really interested in. As a business owner, I'm all about saving money and cutting costs wherever I can. And with how many printers I have about 8 Bambu printers. And so if I can save purging on all of those printers, we're talking about kilograms of filament per month that I'm saving by just not having to purge and waste filament. So that's something that I'm super excited for. I really hope that they come out with, these different, hopefully some kind of mods so that you can modify your old printers, like my X1C, my P1Ss, my P1Ps. I'm really hoping that they come out with a way so that I can mod those printers and get the quick swap hot end system on there, because that is something that would be really valuable to me as a business. So yeah, that is going to be the biggest thing. Another thing is that they have the new user interface. So they took a lot of their main selling points, their main sort of points on the X1C, and then they added them to the P2S. So the P2S has that 5-inch touchscreen that the X1C has. It has the AI spaghetti detection, which I don't know about you guys, but that never came around for me in my P1Ps, my P1Ss. But at the same time, it also says that it has the same camera. So I'm really interested to see kind of what's going to be happening there on whether if the worst camera, because I believe, if I remember, the Bambu Labs, I believe it has a 2K or a 4K camera. So I'm really interested to see what happens there with the lower quality camera and if it helps or if it hurts and hinders the AI detection properties. But either way, spaghetti detection is definitely going to be nice. If you guys listen to my last episode, or one of my last episodes was about running printers overnight. If you have an AI detection software on there that can detect and stop if there's a spaghetti issue, then you can possibly save lots of time and lots of wasted filament on a failed print if it just stops. So that's definitely something that is going to be really nice. It also has an adaptive airflow filtration system. This is helpful if you're running PLA or PETG. It can actually bring air in when you're using PLA or PETG or these filaments that aren't required and honestly can be hindered by the fully enclosed printer. And that helps with making sure that PLA stays cool enough to where everything works as it should and you don't have overheating problems where the PLA gets too hot or it doesn't cool down fast enough and then the layer adhesion gets messed up, leading to failed prints. So overall, the P2S is definitely, it's a much more upgraded version of the P1S, but it also has a lot better features that are going to, like I said, help achieve more successful prints more of the time. And that's not to say that Bambu Labs doesn't do that. They are one of the most successful at making sure your printers are consistently churning out successful prints. But the P2S is stepping it up even another notch and making sure that you have even more successful prints than you already did. So that's something that I'm really excited for. Some of the smart features worth highlighting, like I said, the AI error detection. You also have the flow dynamics calibration, which is another thing that was on the X1C that they're bringing over to the P2S. So if you are running a print, and you're using a brand new filament that you haven't calibrated yet, you can actually, before the print starts, you can have the printer calibrate the filament for you. That way you don't have to do any of the work, and it just takes a couple extra minutes, and then you are going to be pretty much good to go. So that is definitely something that is very nice. It has the camera monitoring, and also has the sensors and safety. It has the same filament runout, the tangle detection, the door sensors, which is something new, which honestly, I think could hinder it maybe more than it could help it, because when prints are running, I like to open the door to kind of check everything and make sure that everything is good. So if the door sensor is on and I just kind of have a brain fart and forget and open the door and that stops the print, I'm going to be pretty upset. So hopefully there's a way to kind of disable that door sensor, but either way, still a helpful thing. It also has the power loss recovery, which is pretty much standard on all the different 3D printers now. But overall, yeah, definitely something that I'm really happy with. A lot of the different main features that I wanted to see carried over from the X1C to the P1S and the P1Ps, it's definitely being brought over in the P2S for the lower price point, which is definitely something that I was concerned about. I didn't want the P2S, when it was announced, to have all these features, but then also just be closer to the price of an X1C, because then that kind of cancels out the whole reason of the P2S, which was a stripped down, cheaper version of the X1C. So I'm glad to see that they're able to bring over the features that the community wanted while also keeping the price point as low as possible. So that's definitely something that is good. And so some of the user feedback that I was able to find, some of the positive feedback, it's just a classic Bambu Labs printer. It works, it's successful, it churns out successful prints. Many users have been able to find the setup very smooth, and that's something that I also like about Bambu Labs printers, is they're very plug and play. Most of the printers that I've taken out of the box, you are either assembling one thing or, in my case, assembling nothing. You're just taking out the shipping supports that they have, and then you're basically plugging it in, calibrating it, and then you're printing. It's really simple. It's a really easy setup and a lot better than these old kits that I used to work with that were a pain to set up. So I'm definitely happy that Bambu Labs has embraced that sort of plug and play model. And they also have found a strong multi-filament workflow. That comes with the less purging, the quick swap hot end kind of nozzle system that they have. It's definitely saving people a lot of time and saving people a lot of money. So there's been a lot of good feedback there. Some constructive feedback is that some users have reported issues with their defective units. So they could be having some quality control problems over there at Bambu Labs. Just something that I wanted to point out. Make sure when you get a new printer, no matter who it's from, I don't care if it's from Bambu, Prusa, Creality, whoever, you definitely want to give it a good once over and make sure nothing's damaged, nothing's out of place. You just want to make sure that everything looks as it should so that you know that you are giving your printer the best chance to succeed. Another thing that they've noted is that just the sentiment overall is varied. Some feel let down by the experience of the P2S. Maybe people thought it was supposed to be the X1C just at a lower price point, and maybe they're a little bit disappointed by that. But there have been some people who I have found online who just aren't as happy with it as they should be. But overall, I don't want to let that get you down. Most of the experiences with the P2S have been very positive. So at the end of the day, I think it's something that is going to be very, very good and very, very helpful, and definitely something that you should consider if you have the budget. Like I said, it's about $550 without the AMS. With the AMS2, you're looking at about $800. If you can afford it, it is a very, very good printer for that price point. And overall, I think it's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and lead to a lot of successful prints down the road. And with that being said, that's kind of all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys learned a lot about the new Bambu Labs P2S. Like I said, Bambu is one of my favorite 3D printing companies on the market, and they keep coming out with better and better printers. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the video podcast. It's my first time doing it. I have no idea whether you guys are going to like it, hate it, not care, whatever. But please feel free to let me know. So thank you guys so much for the support. I'm Tyler with 3D Printing Basics, and I'll talk to you guys next time.